Hello, Katie.
What's
What is
up?
up?
I got a
Are we
little
ready?
something for you.
Okay, I'm ready. Wait, turn it up.
Are we doing this?
Yes.
We're doing this.
Get up. Let's get. We're gonna do it and get up. We're gonna do it right.
Oh, you're even gonna get up?
It's hard to dance in the little box though, so I will say that's a little strange. Right? I love this song. I love it. That's like one of my favorite songs. How did you know?
You know what? I can read you.
Right? Flow Rider. It's awesome.
Flow Rida.
Flow Rider.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
My kids really keep me in the know, you know?
Yeah. Right. So, okay, we're gonna talk about our kids, and then I'm gonna introduce me, and I'm gonna talk about who I am and what I have and do, and then you're gonna talk about who you are. But real quick, I think we should say our names, how old we are, and how many kids we have, so people kind of know a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm Cassie. Obviously, people who are watching this know that because they're on my Facebook page. And if you're joining us from YouTube and you don't know who I am, I'm Cassie, and I have 4 kids. I have 3 kids living at home. One is graduated and has gotten married. She's a beautiful soul. My daughter, I love her. She's 27. And then I have 3 boys who are 13, and 4.
Phew.
Yeah, right? It's insane. I don't know how I do it.
I don't either.
No. So why don't you tell us how, and I'm 40. I just turned 40 this year. What?
Fabulous.
Yeah, right? 40 and fabulous.
Yes.
So
I'm Katie, and I am 42. So you're my younger version.
Oh my gosh, you're so cute looking. Look at you. I was like, oh, she's in her 30s, girl.
Yes, girl.
Yes.
I've got 2 kids. My son just turned 7 yesterday, and I have an 8-year-old daughter.
Awesome. Oh, so you tried to have twins. You were like, I'm doing this thing big. I'm doing it right. Boom, boom.
Irish twins.
Yes.
Like, let's just do this.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's funny that I didn't know how old you were until just now. I just realized okay, so first of all, for those of you watching, welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
Second of all, like, I feel like I've known Katie my whole life. This is so weird, right? And it sucks that we live so far apart. But thanks to digital technology, we can talk to each other anytime we want.
Yay.
So I definitely do feel like even from the moment like that I met you and then I saw some of your stories come through, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be friends with her because I think we're going to be like best friends. Did we just become best friends?
We did. You manifested that.
And
I did too. Yeah. I actually, when I saw you on all our coaching calls and I watched your videos, I was like, I want to be like her when I grow up. But apparently you're younger than me.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to have to try and be like you when I grow up.
Yeah.
So that's a good point to bring up. So we actually met each other online. Mm-hmm. We both went through, actually still going through. So I feel like I'm never going to leave. I love our coaching program. So we both are going through the same certification. I just graduated in September, which I'm so excited about.
Yay!
And you are going through it and such a joy. But I remember the feeling of like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
In the best way. But it is really like, wow, right? Don't you feel like every day is just wow?
Every day is wow. And the best part about being in the community is that you're just always filled.
Yes.
You know, like there's not room for having those moments of setbacks because you just keep getting filled and moving forward and forward. And if you do have a little bit of a bump, there's people to lift you up.
Yeah, for sure. And not only that, but when we have a little bit of a bump, hearing other people's wins, I think that's so important. It's a reminder of, oh, I didn't see that in that way. And so it's a different perspective from so many different people. And I love our community. Like I joke all the time. I'm like, I'm never leaving. And I literally just.
And you don't have to.
No, we don't. Yeah, we get to stay together forever.
Yay.
We're friends forever. What's that TikTok? Do you know the one I'm talking about? Best friends or Kaya and I don't know what it is, but I was like, TikTok. I try to stay in with the cool things. And I totally am like that mom that will do all the TikToks.
Good.
The other night, Side note, I taped toilet paper to my face to
Oh,
be,
wow.
yeah, it was awesome. We were minions. I did it with a couple of girlfriends and we recorded a
Perfect.
TikTok. It was awesome. So that kind of tells you a little bit about me, but let's get to the real stuff because we do
Yes.
want to be conscious of your time, and I am a talker, and I feel like Katie and I together, it could go places. So
It can. Really good places for a really long time.
right, and we do have kids that we have to pick up. So
Yes.
we wanted to talk to you guys today to kind of share our stories. We realized after talking the other day together that we have so much in common, and we have both come to a realization of we're so lucky to be studying the material that we study, to be in the community that we're in. Just this very beautiful realization. Every time you meet someone new and you have that connection, that spirit led is like so beautiful. So we titled this Cassie and Katie Get There Together because it really is what it was all about, right? Like,
Yes.
I think we're always trying to get our stuff together. Like, we're just,
Mhm.
there's always something to be learned out of life. And so for me, I've come such a long way. And really, my whole life has been a process of like overcoming something. And
Mhm.
I was just so tired of being that person that it was always like, oh, she's always got something going on. Like Cassie's always got that next testimony that she's, oh, but it's a trial and it's fire and I'm going through it, like
Yeah.
you get to that place where you're like, I am so tired of always having something going wrong. And I got to a really dark place. I was depressed. I was anxious. This probably all started, I would say, pre-pandemic because I
Mm.
started studying. I think it was no, it was during pandemic. I went to a dark place during pandemic. I think all of us can kind of say we went somewhere. We had
Yeah.
some sort of thing happen during that time, like a realization. But best year of my life. Like
Mm.
probably one of the weirdest and
Me
crazy,
too.
but the best year of my life,
Me too.
right?
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
I would say it's my darkest year.
Mm.
So, long story short is I kept getting sick and I was depressed and I was anxious and I didn't see my purpose. I did not see the
Mm.
point in living another day serving my children with this. The only way I can describe it is guck. I just felt like every day I woke up and I was just not a fun person to be around. I was miserable. I was fearful. I was afraid to leave the house because not only pandemic, but I was sure that anytime I got in the car, I was going to get in a car accident.
Mm.
All these thoughts and these fears in my mind. And I got to a place where I woke up one morning and I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, I don't
Mm.
know why my kids need me. I don't see why my husband needs me. I literally said to my husband, I think it would be best if you could find another mother for our children,
Oh.
another wife. I mean, it was dark. And
Mm.
so I knew something was off in my soul. And I was like, I've got to do something different. And I
Mhm.
didn't want to accept that as the truth, but I wanted someone to tell me like, this is normal what you're feeling or
Yeah.
something. Like I couldn't figure it out.
Mhm.
So, and this is postpartum, right? So like I really was in it. After I had my son, I was miserable. Like I thought, so I wrote down my quote. When we talked the other day, I
Yeah.
wrote down my quote. Literally thought that birthing a child was going to change me.
Mm.
And I thought that it was going to change the way that I loved my children. Like I didn't know how much I loved my children until I gave birth because it taught me that I thought everything would change, but nothing changed with them and everything changed with me. Like I
Mhm.
thought giving birth to children was going to be that pivotal point in my life. Like the clouds would open up and I would be like,
Yeah.
oh, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of clouds, it's cloudy here in Oklahoma City, which is where I'm at. Wherever
Mm.
you're watching this, would you drop in the comments and let us know where you're watching from? Because it's so fun because we live all over the planet. And we have lots of people that we work with, like people from Denmark, people from Canada, Italy, all kinds of different places. So, Katie, you're from?
I'm in North Carolina, and
North
it's
Carolina.
beautiful. It's 77 today. We've got bright blue Carolina skies.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
it's amazing.
I have cloudy weather and it's Well, let's see. Janice just finished a workout. 64 degrees. It's
Oh,
my mom
that's
finished the
that's
workout.
nice though,
Yeah,
64.
64 is nice. It's actually perfect because it's not hot. It's just cool enough where you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
So please let us know where you're listening from, and let us know, if any of this resonates with you, drop an
Mm,
emoji in the comments, because I think what was important about us sharing today is we both have a story, and we're going to have Katie share her story as well. Um, we all go through that. And even if
yeah.
you've never given birth to children, I think as a woman, something inside of you, like you think there's going to be some event that society has told us that we must be a mother, we must be a wife, we must be all these things. And at some point we're like, well, when is the big moment going to happen? Like nothing really is changing by becoming someone for someone else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think for me, going through birthing a child, which I really didn't get to birth him, I had a C-section, it changed me in a way I never expected. I thought it was going to change me for the good, and it did not. It made
Yeah.
me crazy, fearing, anxious, like, yeah, and so, right? We didn't talk about this. We were like the life of the party beforehand. Both Katie and I have
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that was your words. I was life of the party,
I
Katie.
was.
And
Yeah.
what did they call you? Pre 2K, right? Was it pre?
Oh, yeah, that's what John and I say. So my husband and I say, "Remember pre-2 kids, pre-2K?
That's
Remember what we used to do?" Yeah.
It's so true too, because it was, I'm sure, about that time, pre 2K. I mean,
Mhm.
it's crazy how motherhood changes you. And so I think I'm going to let you share some of your story here in a minute, because there's a lot of things that I think is part of your story that I resonate with, but I think that you describe it really, really well. But for me, I was in a dark place, and I needed a light. And having a
Mhm.
child didn't do that. And I thought that it was going to. Like, I thought so I have a stepdaughter, and I have two adopted sons, and I have a biological son, and in that order. And so I knew that I was never going to be the mom for Chelsea because she had a mom. And
Mhm.
I knew I wanted to be a mom. And so I thought, okay, I want to do foster care. I fostered to adopt. And I ended up with two amazing sons who I
Love
cannot
that.
see my life any different.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'm like, man, I really had it good. Before I had a baby, my body was like, it was easy.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about anything, no recovery. Like, adopting a child was easy. There were things about
On
it,
your body.
right,
Yeah.
on the body, physically, even physically. I mean, just, yeah, on the body.
Mhm.
But so many different ways, right, of having children. And then I thought having a child, like, I thought that was going to be the thing that fixed me. The
Mhm.
thing that was missing in here, like, I felt something in me that was like,
Mm.
"What's missing?" I thought it was my kids, and
Mm.
it wasn't. So on that note, I want you to kind of share your story, and then we'll kind of bring it back around to a circle to where we both concluded, because I don't want to give away our ending just yet. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with life of the party, Katie, and what happened when she had kids?
Yes. And feel free to, like, hold up a sign when I need to stop because
Yeah, I'll
it's
just
it's a big experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It
It
is.
is. So, I actually went back to work after I had my daughter, and I went back for a month. And throughout that month, my mom was watching her, and she would send me pictures and videos. And while I was in the closet, like pumping, I would look at these videos and I would cry. And I wanted to be home. I wanted to be there. I didn't know that I wanted to be there until I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So then when I got home, and my husband and I talked about it, and because we didn't know how we were going to make it work financially, but we decided, okay, we're just not going to do anything anymore. Right? Like,
Yeah, we'll just stay home for the
we'll
rest
just
of our life.
like stop living. But you can be home. Like, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. So I came home, and it was great for a little while. Um, I was very grateful and thankful in the beginning. And it became very evident as time went on that I was always a high achiever, and I always was very successful in my jobs, but I also got a lot of kudos, right? And I had a lot of amazing bosses that I worked for, and I love them. If you're watching, I love you guys.
By the way,
Um,
hashtag, I love you.
I love you. But they filled me up and I wasn't full myself, which is what I'm learning throughout this whole process is it's really all about self-love. And the more that we can study ourselves and the more that we can learn about the power that we have within and that God gives to us, that just it's the better that we will feel, and we don't need anybody else to fill us up. So I'm going on that tangent, but
You're fine. This is good. It was so
yeah.
good. I was like, I leaned in. I was like, this is good.
Woo. So I came home with her and things were okay. I became like the Purell mom, the, oh my gosh, it's flu season mom. Like, we can't go anywhere, mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like to cook. I do love to clean. But it was like, eventually I was like, here's your dinner, honey. And it was like,
There's some mac and cheese.
yeah. And it started off like gourmet and I would be like rubbing his back. And then like, I became resentful. And sad and lonely. Honestly, I became very lonely.
Yeah.
And so fast. And Taylor, our daughter, was always a great sleeper. She was always a great eater. She tricked me. She
did. She's like, have another one.
Have another one. It'll be great. So then Jackson comes along and he was literally an emergency from the get-go. I mean, when I was having him, they said, like, don't breathe, just push, because he was having, the cord was starting to wrap. And they were like, you need to giddy up, like, stop all that stuff that you practice. Just get him out. Like, here's the vacuum. So,
oh my gosh.
So anyway, he was a screamer and a crier and colicky, whatever, for a really long time, probably like 4 months, until I realized that he had reflux and he would sound like he was like choking, like dying.
Yeah.
Next to me in the bed.
I can the resonate. Yeah, for sure. Acid reflux is no joke in babies. It's bad.
It was bad. It probably wasn't 4 months, but who knows? I can't remember anymore. But it was like it was a long time, and my fear grew. My not wanting to do anything, because he would wake up every like 90 minutes to 3 hours for seriously 3.5 years of his life. Like at night, he would wake up. I'd be like, okay, it's 12 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. It's, like, I know. And I was just in so much fear. Turns out he has an egg allergy. So I figured that out when he was 1. But the reason he had such trouble is because I ate eggs every day. Poor kid. And so
eggs are so good though. Like, well, how good?
I don't look at eggs the same anymore. I'll tell you that. But what I can tell you, what's amazing, what I've learned from all this is when I would go in there in the middle of the night every night and take care of him. I didn't know this at the time, that our subconscious mind is wide open.
Right.
Wide open until a certain age, right? And I fed him with so much love. Yeah. And I told him, you're so amazing, buddy. I love you so much. Mommy will do anything for you. You're perfect. And I was so scared. Like, if I can reach out and hug any other moms that feel this legit anxiety, I actually became depressed, which is like, I've always been this like bright, shining light.
Me too.
And I just became depressed. So I actually went to the doctors and they put me on an antidepressant. This is after about a year and a half, because I was crying like all the time. He was crying. I was crying. My husband was probably crying.
Crying in a closet somewhere.
Yeah. And I went on it for 3 days, and then I actually had a reaction to it. Like, I could not stop crying and shaking for like 6 hours.
Wow.
So I called the doctor and she was like, Catherine, just call me tomorrow and we'll put you on a new one. And I'm like, she's like delivering a baby. I'm like, pick up the phone. I'm dying. And so I never did. And she actually said to me, if you don't handle this now, it's going to come out in another way. Right. And I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Right.
So what
Because
really,
I was
sorry.
gonna say, because you're a high achiever, I think that that's important to note too. The high
Mm,
performer, going back to the boss, you got rewarded, but that was like your thing. It's like, no, I got this. I can handle it. I don't need
yeah,
anybody.
yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine.
I'm life of the party, Katie.
Life of the
Even
party Katie
after
is
post
fine.
2K, right?
Yes,
Trying.
yes. So I knew that underneath it all, I was lonely. I was living in fear,
Mhm.
and resentment and all these negative low vibration things. And I was covering it up as best that I could. So my husband and I talked, and I decided that Zumba was the way for me to go because I love to dance.
Yes.
But oh, and this is really important. I missed this part. So when Jackson was probably like two-ish, I don't know, I
Mhm.
started drinking red wine.
Oh yes, right. We
This is
talked about
huge for
yeah,
anyone that
yes.
and red
Especially
wine is or wine is a thing with moms. It's like a meme. It's like it's
yeah,
time for wine.
right. Or like us in the driveway watching our kids play, drinking wine. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a TikTok reels everywhere.
it's a thing, and it's
Yeah.
so accepted. And so I found a lot of relief in wine.
Yeah.
And I
Agree.
actually have an alcoholic dad, and so I've always been very aware of that.
Yeah.
And I never used to drink when I wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
But then I wasn't feeling good all the time.
Right.
And wine gave me relief.
Yeah.
So it started off with a glass of wine a night. And I was like, oh, the life of the party, Katie is feeling good, right?
Yeah.
And then it went to two, and occasionally three. And I was like, that probably lasted like a year, to be honest.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know what? This is not how it's going to go down for me. Like, mm-mm. So I started listening to this podcast about thinking leads to feelings, leads to action, which is what we're studying,
Right.
or what we're studying always.
Yeah.
And I kicked the habit of the wine nightly by learning how our mind works, and plus I had a big desire. You've got to have a desire to change,
Yeah.
period. And I had a huge desire because of my dad.
Yeah.
um so anyway, I picked up Zumba is, you don't need to drink, you know.
And you can
It's,
party.
you can party, you can still have fun, you're active, you're getting your endorphins going. It was healthy in
Yes.
my mind, right?
It's acceptable to dance and you don't have to be in a club with some guy trying to like hit on you because you're dancing. Right?
Exactly. And like it's kind of like a you get on a cruise ship, and the lights are on and everyone's just out of sync. Like it's really fun.
I love it. It
Yeah.
so is like that.
And so I made some beautiful, amazing friends.
Yeah.
And I still love them. They're still amazing. But I ended up injuring my heel.
Mhm.
In Zumba, there was I started having foot problems throughout, like when stuff was going with my son, I wasn't feeling good. And so I I actually wasn't feeling good that day, but I was like, I'll feel better when I get to Zumba,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there was this instructor that was dancing next to me, and she was getting it. So
Yeah.
like I was gonna get it. Like,
Exactly. It's
so,
the energy, the feeding off the energy. Yeah.
yes. So I got it so much that I injured my heel. Like what shouldn't have been a big deal.
Yeah.
Here's what ended up happening. So after a couple of days,
Pause that thought for a second.
okay,
Just to check in with the audience. Okay, so if you know Katie or me from dancing with us, please let us know in the comments. If you're watching this, even if it's on a replay, like if this is a later and you're watching this as a hashtag replay, type that and then put I've danced with you or something, or put a
yeah,
little dance emoji in there.
yeah,
I'm
we
just
should
curious.
say you're a Zumba instructor. Like
Yes, yeah. I
crazy.
think half of my Facebook friends is probably either Zumba students or people I've met
Yeah,
through Zumba or like the dance fitness. So now I teach turn up, but now it's like turn up
love it.
sisters it's amazing. Dance family, basically.
Yes.
Sorry, I just had to ask because I'm curious now. I'm like, because it really is a way that you can connect with
Mm,
people. Like it's the best. It really
the
does
best.
create not lonely because you're
Yes.
doing something you all love and the energy is always high vibe. And if it's not, then usually that's led by the instructor. So you have to have a really great instructor.
Yeah, Cassie.
Enter Cassie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, just shameless plug. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue on. I just had, because I was curious if who was watching that was a dance buddy.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
okay, so my heel ended up like blowing up, and so I went to a podiatrist, and she said, "You've got a bursitis of the heel. You've got a tear in your Achilles. All these things. Here's some steroids. Here's 2 packs of steroids, and here's 30 days of ibuprofen that you're going to need because this is really bad." And I got x-rays and nothing was broken, but my body was reacting like absurdly, like just, so what continued forward, what kept happening as time went on with the steroids is within like 3 or 4 days, my feet were turning purple, and my, I was having heart palpitations, and talk about anxiety. And I honestly was like, okay, something is really wrong. What am I going to do? And so I started going to different doctors. I went to a cardiovascular doctor to make sure, because my legs were purplish, my feet were purple. I was having pain in all of my limbs, like stabbing pain. Mm-hmm. The podiatrist said, well, this is an autoimmune. It's called complex regional pain syndrome. It's an overreaction of your parasympathetic nervous system, or one of those two. It was an overreaction. Yeah, parasympathetic. And so she's like, I'm sorry, but like, it's awful. I've known people with it. Yeah. We're catching it early though. Go see this physical therapist, who's one of my amazing friends, Justin. Shout out to Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Woo! So I went to Justin, and he helped me with the physical therapy part. And I think what was so amazing with him is that I didn't know he was also helping with the mindset piece, because he said to me, I've helped people with this before. You're going to be fine. And I was like, you think, and he's like, yes, you're going to be fine. So I ended up hiring a coach after going to the doctors to make sure like I wasn't dying, that I just had this autoimmune thing. And the coach was more of like a holistic, natural type of coach. Mm-hmm. But he also gave me exercises, and he had me on a food regimen, and didn't do a lot of mindset stuff, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, so this doesn't go too long. I stuck with him for a while, but I was still having, so I had rashes, I had hair loss, I lost my period. I told you, heart palpitations, anxiety, still had the purple feet, had the swelling in the foot, like freezing cold, just like I feel terrible even saying it. Like, yeah, it's awful, but I'm better, guys. So, right. So, I ended up visiting Dr. Google, unfortunately, and Dr. Google.
When we're home, that I think I spent half my life on Google. Like Dr. Google, hey, how am I today? Dr. Google, I feel kind of weird today. What am I feeling? Yeah.
It's like you might have a headache, or it's a brain aneurysm.
I know. Don't you love that when you Google something? I stopped Googling altogether. Like I just unless it's like looking up a word in the dictionary, I'm not Googling anymore.
No. Heck no.
I don't think it's fair to blame all of it on Google, because I think Google's just the search engine, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all up in here.
So, but I want to add real quick. So it's funny. It's not funny. It's interesting to me that a lot of the symptoms that Katie is describing, the heart palpitations, I currently have heel pain because I have bone spurs, but all of these things that are going on, the digestive issues, the body reacting to external circumstances, the things that we have in common were anxiety and depression. And what ends up happening if you don't take care of those things, it expresses itself as a physical ailment. Yes. And so that's really like the commonality with us today, why we're talking, is partly that we had these things, but also to tell people, if you're struggling with these things, there's a way out. Like we're living proof on how to get out of it, because I don't live in anxiety anymore. I don't have depression,
Yes.
and I have some physical ailments, but I know now that they're associated with my mind. And so I do mind work, right? And I do physical work too. I think it's important that you still eat healthy and get exercise and take care of when your body's telling you something, it's telling you something for a reason.
Yes.
And one of the things, I follow Louise Hay. I just have to say this, the foot pain is actually a sign of being afraid to step into your future. And I think that resonates so loudly, don't you? Like,
Oh yeah.
totally that was what was going on for me. I was afraid to move forward because I didn't think there was anything worth moving forward for, because I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And I had a very similar birth with Blaze. Blaze had laryngomalacia. He had acid reflux, same thing. I
Mm-hmm.
thought he was dying when he was sleeping. He sounded awful. He looked like he was turning blue. I was like, dude, this kid is literally going to die right in front of me.
Yeah, me too.
Right? You just get to this place. And then once you feel that as a mom, you're like, I have to protect this child at all costs. So it's interesting that we have those same things. And so then we were talking about, and that's why we're here today. We were talking about that. We need to share this story because maybe there's a new mom, or maybe there's a mom that's not even a new mom, and she's struggling with something.
Yeah.
And we want you guys to know that it's normal to a degree of, I'm not saying that it's normal for everyone, but I do think that it's important to catch it and to address it.
Yes.
Because if you're feeling overwhelmed, underwhelmed, depressed, anxious, and physically your body is like, all the things are happening, it's highly possible it's all here. And I would actually go, even if I'm not saying this because I think that people would balk against it, but I believe that everything starts here.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe in doctors. I believe in Western medicine. I absolutely believe in all of that. But I also believe that you can heal yourself from the inside. So, yeah. And this is what's so cool about meeting you in our coaching program is I think you and I have a very similar style and what we've been through. So your story creates how and who you help. Like what you're doing, sharing our story today, even if it helps one person to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, we've done our job. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If somebody would have, during the time that you had all that stuff going on, think about what could have happened for you. Like, what could be different? But here's the beautiful thing. I don't look back and think, oh gosh, I wish that was all different. Of course, would I love to be different sooner than what I was? But I needed to go through those things so I could grow.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go back to your story. So you were talking about your coach that helped you with your digestive and figuring things out. So moving forward into that.
Yeah. So, and I'll try to speed it up because I realize I'm talking long, but
it's what I just realized it's 1:00. So I was thinking, oh yeah, we're about 30 minutes. So we're going to try and keep it right around 30 to 40. I think we're really good at this.
We got this. Okay. Yeah. Clearly. We got our stuff together. Remember?
We do. We so do.
So, okay. So then I actually ended up going to naturopaths because I'm like, well, this is the way to go. Yeah. And then the more doctors that I went to, the more stuff that they told me I had. And the more that I was like, okay, now I have to do this and this. And yeah. And I was a great patient. Like if you told me to eat meat 3 times a day, I did it.
Yeah. You're like, I did this. I'm winning.
Like I'm in this to win this. If you told me no meat, all veggies and fruits, I've done it. I've done it. So I ended up firing the doctors and I started to educate myself and empower myself. I love that word.
Yeah.
Empower. Right? Empowerment.
Yes.
Empowerment.
It's beautiful.
And I ended up hiring a coach, and this coach helped me. Again, it was very highly concentrated on food. And it helped to a point, but I definitely helped to a point. Yeah. But I still had some resistance to it because I know it's all our perception is our reality. So what I was picking out some fear-based things in there of reasons why I was eating a certain way because I wanted to fight this virus or this. And I didn't want to live that way. I wanted to appreciate certain foods and know that they're nourishing me however I need to be nourished, right?
Right.
So but I love that coach dearly.
Yeah.
She's incredible. But I knew that there was a mindset piece. We were actually tracking symptoms every day.
Wow.
And we learn what you focus on gets bigger.
Right. That's exhausting thinking about it.
It's exhausting. Yeah. I mean, I was tracking everything I was eating every single second and everything that, every symptom.
Yeah.
That I chose. I chose like 5, whatever. But I ended up getting into mindset with Dr. Joe. Shout out to Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe Dispenza. That's my uncle.
Are you here? Are you here?
My uncle used to call him Mr. Dispenser.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, honey, you can't call him that.
No.
It's Dr. Joe. We love Joe.
We love him.
Yes.
So I started studying the mind-body connection and learning meditation. And then I started learning, and I immersed myself in the proof that you can heal yourself by yourself. And I was like mind blown.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mic drop. Like, let's just get off right now.
Right. Exactly. Done. That's all you need. You've got all the information you need.
We're good. So then I ended up getting into like breath work, and then I actually got into Kathleen Cameron and Bob Proctor and Kathleen Cameron, and
so good.
And I just when I listened to her story, and she had postpartum, and she had a lot of things, but I didn't even know that. When I heard her, I just like fell in love with her message and her heart.
Yeah, her energy was just she didn't have to say anything special. It's her energy.
It's true. It's
right?
True.
She could probably just talk about like a menu. Like she could read
and you would be like,
so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's really true. I would listen to her like, read anything. I would be like, so just
yes. So, but she has taught me what she has taught me, and I will not cry because this is amazing. But really to love myself, and at the root of all of it. And I think a lot of people with like the pandemic coming home and being in your own head and hearing that biatch upstairs that's like, you're not good enough, you can't do it. Yeah.
Karen, be quiet. Karen, sit down. Karen, no more.
My mother-in-law's name is Karen, so I love you, girl. It's not you.
We don't want to. We're not saying you. We're just saying right.
Yeah. But she's also taught me that we can teach others because we are immersed in this information. We understand it. The power of our thinking turning to feeling, turning to action, and how to actually reprogram our subconscious mind to create new habits, to create the lives of our dreams.
Yes.
The fact that I'm on here with you, Cassie, it's like amazing, because my confidence before getting in this information and putting myself out there, like I was always believed I could be fine, like one-on-one, not in public eye, or I was always successful with a couple of people, like, that I felt safe with.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I mean, we learn to empower ourselves and go out and get what we want. Right. And that's what we teach other people how to do, which I love.
And I think one of my favorite things that I created an affirmation, because I was like, I remember one of the very first conversations that I had with Kathleen, and she said to me, why don't you share any of your story? And I was like,
you're a secret agent, right?
I don't know. I just don't. And she was like, I think I know why, but I want you to tell me. And I don't even remember how the conversation came up, but it was like, you're still afraid of what people will think.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really see it that way. I just felt like it's my story and I'm not going to share it. But what I realized is not sharing my story is actually me withholding information that maybe someone else feels just as lost as I did, and feels sad and lonely and just like you did. And so I created this affirmation that is what I use a lot when I'm starting to feel that creeping of like worrying about what I'm saying or what I'm doing. And it's, I am immune to other people's opinions.
Mm.
And this will tie great into what you said the other day. We were talking and Katie said something
Yes.
so beautiful, and I'm going to use it as a quote on my Facebook page because I was like, wow, you're just like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Do you remember it? Are you going to say it? I
Yeah,
have it written
well, we'll see. I'll quote myself if I can get it right. I said, "You can't mess up being yourself unless you're trying to be someone else." And
Chills.
that's what I keep saying to myself, like about going live and being me and being authentic is like, you can't mess it up.
No.
Just be you, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
That. So beautiful. And I love that statement because I think we're all trying to figure out who we are. And
Yeah.
instead of trying to figure it out, we can just be it. Just show
Yeah.
be in the moment and live every moment exactly how you're supposed to. And you'll know if you start tapping into spirit, if you start tying into the inner voice, you'll know exactly where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do. And it's just freeing. Thinking about that is like, I just feel relaxed, at ease, and I
Yeah.
don't have that fear and anxiety about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, like, I know that I recently lost my uncle, and I'm getting ready to go on a trip with my mom to Hawaii to go and get his ashes. And this has been the most beautiful experience of experiencing transition from physical death, from physical life to spirit. And I don't see it as a loss. I see it as
Mm.
a beautiful transition where now he's in me, he's everywhere, his spirit is free and his body was suffering. So
Yeah.
it's just it's a beautiful material to be in, and our community is so beautiful. I mean, all of it is just amazing. So I guess what we want to conclude with is if
Yes.
this has hit any heartstrings, and Dr. Joe, we know that it does. We know that this stuff hits our
Yeah.
heartstrings, right? Like our
Yeah.
thoughts are directly linked to our minds. And we want to offer that if anybody's like, if this is hitting you in a way, I mean, you're not alone.
Yeah. Reach out.
We're here. And
Mhm.
even just to have a conversation, if somebody would have reached out to me so I could even talk to someone about what I was feeling in a safe space,
Mm-hmm.
I would have just I think it would have just been amazing. So with that being said, we just want to conclude with just know that you're not alone. And
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what it is you have. Just keep empowering yourself, because if I had listened to all the people telling me you have autoimmune this and autoimmune that, and you'll always have this and you'll always have that, I would always have it.
right.
But something inside of me said, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
Exactly. So good. Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. Maybe we'll do this like monthly or something.
Girl, yes.
Every month. And maybe we'll dance too. That'll be
maybe I'll get up next time. I don't know.
I know you got so scared. I totally expected you to hop out of your chair because people in Zumba usually will dance anywhere.
Yes, it's true. I've been out of practice, so I haven't been since.
Oh man.
Yes.
Since before. I was since before. We should just make it there's got to be some sort of saying or something
Since before.
We're not even going to say the words because we don't even want to give it power.
Yeah.
So I want to say this as our final note. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and your results show. I mean, every single mentor that we follow, I'll say that specific thing in their own way, and it's so powerful. So stop focusing on what you don't want and start focusing on what you do want. And bipartisan, if you know what you don't want, you can figure out what you do want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right. Katie,
hey,
this is amazing.
Amazing.
We're going to do this again sometime, but for now, drop us in the comments if you enjoyed our story or if you have a similar story. We want to hear about it.
Yes, please.
Send
Next time it won't be so long. We don't have to go through it all again.
No. Yeah. We'll be well practiced because this is only the third time we've ever talked to each other. Talked. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. But we're like old friends. If you think we are like old friends, you can say that in the comments. Say #old friends. Because I totally feel like we're like soul sisters or something.
Sisters. Yeah.
I love it. All right. You guys have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in. And again, #replay if you caught this video after the live. If you caught it live, thank you so much for joining us. We're so grateful for your time and for hanging in our long-winded
It's years of stuff we had to get out. So it was pretty good.
It was great. It was
Yeah.
perfect. All right. Have a beautiful day. And Katie, you stay on. I'm going to go ahead and end the live.
Oh,
We'll just
okay.
end that out and we'll chat about when we're going to do it next.
Okay.
All right.
Bye,
Adios,
guys.
guys.